inspection reports.
Yes.
Right? And which inspection reports are completed on site. They are brought to the office, right? And we go in through them, we check, right? And make sure that indeed this monitoring team is doing its work. I do.
Okay. So but just to be sure, and I just want to correct your answer to Mr. Skakane. You responded to his question that you don't agree with what is contained here, that monitoring wasn't happening. So I just want to clarify that with you, that you accept, and there seems to be in your answer, in fact, that because of capacity constraints,
Yes.
monitoring was not happening the way that the SLAs required it to be done, which is twice a month. You accept that?
I accept.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Valerie. In fact, I wanted to probe this point a bit further. And this report actually refers that this was a finding of internal audit, meaning there was an auditing of the sites, the monitoring reports, and the actual inspection reports. But at least now we've accepted that you don't dispute this answer. Now, could you accept that in that, well, perhaps let me start with the question. These assets, if you look at the tender, the 02 2016-2017 tender,
Yes.
the value of it is 800 million, which according to you, as the client representatives in specific, is quite a substantial amount.
Yes, I think it could even be more, even though I don't have the exact report to back up my statement. But yes, I agree. It's a substantial amount of money, I agree.
And could you accept the possibility with what you are saying and the acceptance of these findings from internal audit that perhaps there could have been a situation where invoices that were submitted by service providers could not have been verified as a possibility?
I think it could be, yes. I agree.
And how often did you reconcile or double check the invoices of the service providers on your part? Because actually you were the director.
Normally, we have got schedule for each security service provider. And every time they submit an invoice, right, my team would make sure that this invoice is in respect of all the sites that which were or that which are allocated to the specific service provider before it gets brought to my office to certify that indeed the services were rendered as per the allocation in question and so forth.
Perhaps then I understand your answer then differently to say that with each invoice that is submitted, you sign them off after having made sure that the services were rendered.
Yes, there is a standing instruction to the team that is assigned a duty to receive and administer these invoices to say before each invoice is brought to my attention to certify, right? Go through and make sure that the service provider is invoicing the city for all the sites that the service provider in question is guarding or deployed to guard.
But surely that answer or your agreement with what is stated in the report and the answer you're providing can't exist at the same time. Meaning you can't agree with an audit finding that says you failed to monitor the service level agreement or service providers, but then at the same time you say you do check the invoices and satisfy yourself that services were rendered.
There are two, in my honest view, there are two sides to the question. When I say I do not dispute what the internal audit has done, right, it's on the basis that there are 545 sites to which we should have come out twice every month. Hence, I said, sometimes it is possible not to come out there as a result of I mentioned the issue of capacity. But now, coming back to the invoices, right? The invoices, the monitoring of the invoice by the administration team is to ensure that whatever the service provider has claimed on the invoice is actually what has been allocated to that service provider, right? As to whether during the month the monitoring team managed to come out of each and every site so mentioned on the invoice, that would be another issue. And the possibility is, it could be that for the month of March, the monitoring team came out once to a specific site, but the service provider would still submit that invoice for payment. Hence, theirs is to make sure that whatever is submitted for payment is exactly as per the schedule that we have allocated to that specific service provider. Commissioner.
Thank you.
I guess what Mr. Skakane is testing with you is that it's possible, and I want to say probable, that some invoices were paid even though services were not rendered as reflected in that invoice, because you wouldn't know if monitoring doesn't happen as regularly or as agreed, then you depend entirely on the service provider to say in their invoice, we did deploy our people as per the SLA. You depend on them because you have no way of verifying that at the time that you get the invoice, because your people didn't, due to capacity constraints, they were unable to go to that site.
I agree.
You must accept that. You
accept.
probably did pay some invoices when they should not have been paid.
Probably, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Malloy. I think that takes care of quite a bit of my questions on this. Just out of interest, this report, when did you ever come across it? When did you first see it?
Human resource related matters. No, I'm coming across it for the first time here.
For the first time. Okay. Thank you. Please go back to file 1, which is the continuation of your statement. Just be reminded of what the chair requested, that you read the heading first.
We are on page 4, am I correct?
Correct, paragraph 14 at the top, but start with the heading.
Yes. The heading, whether TMPD previously outsourced guarding services, entities which previously rendered guardian services out of the appointed 2022. That rendered service under TMPD 2 2016-2017. As indicated in paragraph 1 above, TMPD has previously outsourced guardian services. The following entities were previously appointed prior to TMPD 2 2016-2017. Number 1, Hotline Security Services. 2, Mabotwane Security Services. 3, Triotic Protection Services. 4, Marumo My Pet Cleaning. 5, Security and, actually it's Marumo My Pet Security and Cleaning Service and Civil Construction. And then it would be 5 in terms of 6, which is both best trading and projects.
Thank you. Just to spend a bit of 2 questions on this. Do you know were you involved, let's say prior to this tender, in outsourcing or in previous contracts for the provision of security services for the assets?
Prior to TMPD 2, 2016-2017,
Correct.
I was not involved.
You are not involved.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. There's an entity there that's 14.3,
14.3, Triotic, yes.
Triotic Protection Services.
Yes.
Do you know about that entity?
Yes, the entity is one of the entities that are appointed by the city in terms of TMPD 2 2016-2017. And it is currently rendering guardian services to the city. I think basically that's what I can say.
Thank you. And for example, at this point in time, when you were at the BEC, because it was evaluated at that time, and your recommendation as the BEC was that it, among others, should have been appointed. Am I correct?
You mean the BEC in respect of TMPD 2 2016-2017?
Correct. The report
Yes,
that
yes,
you
yes.
did was that amongst other entities, the 22 entities, Triotic Protection Services should have been appointed. Or you were recommending it rather, let me use that term.
They were, all the bidders, including Triotic, I think they were recommended.
They were recommended. I just want to probe a bit on that. Are you aware that that company is linked to Mr. Eugene Mdisa
Yes,
at the time?
at that time I was not aware. I became aware after. I became aware as we went on, as we went along, that it is linked to Mr. Eugene Mdisa, you're right. So,
Thank you. Commissioners, I would have handed an article, a newspaper article, CJC 104. Could you take that? If you turn to page 2 of, this is a news article, just to be correct, this is a news article from News 24 about this tender for for triotic, and